All right, guys, welcome to the MMA Fight Game Podcast. We are here with Shameless Don Shainis. He is headlining Joe Cavallero and Rick Caldwell's Combat FC 6 against another rising prospect in the MMA scene with nasty Nate Ghareeb. That bout is for the featherweight, the 145-pound title. Don is looking to get back on track, get back to the UFC, the big dance, and show everybody what he's made of after his long commute to Las Vegas, where he is now residing. Don, I truly appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, man. So we were talking when we were setting up this interview. What was the decision behind moving to Las Vegas from Plymouth?
So back home, there's a couple factors. First and foremost, fuck snow. Like straight up, fuck snow. Never want to shovel again in my life. New England, love you, but never want to be in there in the winter. So that was like my ultimate deciding factor. Was like, I don't feel like shoveling. No. Pretty much me and my coach Eric, we sat down and we talked, and I did a camp out here for my last fight, and I really liked it. But back home, splitting up the camps doesn't really quite make sense anymore. And back home, I was having a hard time finding training partners, just because the culture and the lifestyle is so different. Um, Being out in Vegas, one, the weather's warmer, but two, everyone wakes up and the first thing they go do is train. It's a lifestyle out here where I felt like back home I was struggling not so much to find training partners, but like to find actual MMA, because so many people are doing jiu-jitsu or they're boxing or they're doing Muay Thai where they're not actually putting it all together and mixing it up. And like that's great if you're a specialist in one discipline, but I want to be the most well-rounded fighter I could be, and I need to be doing MMA to ultimately push myself forward. So I wanted to up my training. I wanted to get, I don't want to say better training partners, but I want to get guys that are competing at the highest level, and I want to push myself and leave my comfort zone. And back home I was just a little bit too comfortable, and I couldn't stand the commutes. A normal night, I'm leaving my house at, first of all, I'm fucking waiting all day for people to get out of work to leave my house at 4 p.m. to get to the gym for 6:30 just because I'm going into traffic. So me and my coach, we sat down and we talked about a couple different places, and I really enjoyed Vegas, and I just kind of said fuck it and drove out here.
Yeah, before the call started, you took me around your apartment. I mean, it's perfect for what a fighter needs until, he starts getting those, bigger checks. So let's talk about that February 9th Combat FC 6 bout against nasty Nate Ghareeb, who is currently the 155-pound lightweight champion. How did that bout come about?
I was on my way to Vegas, and Eric hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, I know you wanted to fight this guy before. Do you want the fight?" I guess either Joe Cav or Rick Cadwell hit up Eric, asked me if I wanted to fight, and it was kind of a no-brainer. Before I got in the UFC, Nate called me out, and it never happened. Then I got in the UFC, then I got released, and then he was doing some things on the regional scene, and we're just gonna run it. Right now, it's the two best regional guys going at it.
Yeah, and who did you say called Eric? Who's Eric?
Eric's my head coach back home.
Oh, okay. Does he act as your manager and then they call for
No, no,
fight?
no. I'm no. So I'm with Iridium, but like there's certain things on the regional scene that I talked to him about. The bigger guys, they do the UFC, Bellator, PFL sort of stuff. But anything on the local scene, I could talk to Eric or do myself.
Oh, okay. And then you need Iridium when you get to the higher levels, Bellator,
Yeah,
PFL.
yeah. You know.
Yeah. So what are your expectations for the February 9th bout at Combat FC 6 against Nate Ghareeb?
Oh, I mean, like this fight is kind of long overdue if you think about it. You know, obviously I was with the UFC for a little bit when Nate was calling me out. Like I just got in or it was right before I got in, and like before I heard him. He asked for it, and I'm gonna give him what he wants, and we're gonna see if he's gonna regret making that decision and that call out, because right now with the Ultimate Fighter right around the corner, and I know he's been on interviews, like I could fuck up his whole career.
Yeah. Is this bout a little personal to you now? It seems like it might be just a little bit personal because of the call out earlier when he called you out when you were getting to the dance.
Nah, dude. I mean, dude, it's a fight. Like part of it's not personal at all. Like I don't know this guy. I've never hung out with this guy. I've never had a conversation with this guy. I've seen him, in a few podcasts saying my name, and that's cool and all. I understand it. Like it's not
Yeah.
personal, but it doesn't have to be. It's like I'm gonna go in there and I got a job to do, and while we're in there, it's gonna be fucking fuck you, me first, right? But other than that, like, dude, I bet you if we trained together, we'd probably be friends. He's friends with all my friends.
Yeah, you guys definitely run in the same
Yeah,
circle
yeah.
for sure.
I got all my friends torn right now. They're like, "Oh, bro, whatever."
Yeah, it's tough. You just gotta pray that it's a good fight, it's an entertaining fight, and none of you guys are seriously hurt. That's generally when you have two friends fighting. That's what happens.
Well, we're not friends. I've never hung out with him. We're not friends.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just in general, when you have like two friends fight, like potentially like Ian Gary and Vincente Luque who were going to fight in 296. They were friends. They were pretty cordial, and then they fight, and then when you have friends, they're torn, and you just general statement is you pray for no one to get hurt. Seriously.
Look, it is what it is, especially
But
with
now
the
talk to me.
Ultimate Fighter, especially with that right around the corner. Like the way I see it is winner gets on tough.
That could be, or could the winner maybe get seen and get a contender series, which is a little bit away, or maybe potentially get a short notice fight because a lot of fights getting booked up right now. We broke one today, but I'm sure in about 2 hours, Dana White's going to be on Instagram announcing some more fights.
Yeah, so like I doubt this would put us on the contender series. I feel like the contender series is for a lot of younger guys, a lot of up and comers. Right now, what? I think we're both over 30. We're both veterans. We both got over 10 fights. This is gonna be my 20th professional fights. I can't see the
Nice.
UFC putting me on the contender series just because I have so much experience. But I've gotten a late notice call, and I'm ready. I'll be ready for another one. And if not a late notice call, the Ultimate Fighter. And if not, I'm just gonna fucking keep racking up some wins.
Yeah. Now, is this your first fight that you've taken since being out in Vegas and having the training and the quality partners that you talked about earlier?
So I came out to Vegas a few times this year, and I did part of my camp out here. But in hindsight, like I probably should have stayed a little bit longer. I did a lot of back and forth, and like it's just much clearer just to like focus without worrying about going back and forth and doing all that bullshit. It ended up costing me a ton of money, and a ton of money I didn't fucking have. And it's just much more efficient run this way.
Yeah, it seems that way. And then obviously you joined a top-notch gym that's out there,
Mhm.
Syndicate MMA, which I can't say enough about. Those guys are fantastic. They have amazing guys over there. And then you're right next door pretty much to the UFC PI. Talk
Yeah.
to me about what both of those gyms and training sessions have meant to you.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like back home, I go wake up, I go work out, I go do my cardio, I go do whatever, and I'm kind of waiting around all day to train. Here, I
Mhm.
wake up, I go fucking train, right? I'm getting fucking quality rounds in. I'm getting coaching in MMA. It's MMA almost every single day. I'm getting quality rounds in with quality guys and guys that have not only been there, but they've done that, right? So the talent level is fucking up there. I'm pushing myself, being challenged. I'm not the best guy in the room every fucking day. There might be some days where today I'm the fucking hammer, but like every day someone's bringing something new to the table. And every day, everyone's chasing for the same thing. And, and it's just kind of a culture out here where you wake up, you just go train, you know? And then sometimes after training, one of the guys in the UFC be like, yo, let's go grab lunch. The PI is right around the corner. That's the Performance Institute for the UFC Performance Institute for people that don't know. And it's literally 2 minutes from the gym. And if you're in the UFC, you go there, you get free lunch, free PT, free strength and conditioning, free recovery, free food, whatever. If you're not, you gotta pay for your food, but you get limited access, but it's still, you're running into world champions left and right. I think I saw Chris Weidman earlier today, just walking by him, and Aljamain Sterling, two
Yeah.
former world champions, and just to be around people like that have competed and won at the highest level, like it doesn't get higher than that, so just to be around people like that is pretty dang cool.
Yeah. Have you gotten any rounds with like Aljo? Aljo's close to around your weight. He's actually going to your weight class when he fights at UFC 300 against Calvin Cater.
Yeah. So I did months ago. I think I got one round with him months ago, but I've actually gotten a lot of rounds with Merab. A ton of rounds with Merab. And Merab's a little motherfucker, dude. He's good.
Yeah, I did. I'm good friends with Pompos Gregorio, who
Okay.
actually just announced his fight for March 17th. He's a teammate from Longo, Sarah Longo in Long Island
Mhm.
of those guys, and he said the same thing. Like Marab is just a gas tank. How do you handle somebody's gas tank like Marab?
Yeah, just go first. If you let him start going, like you're in for a world of shit.
Yeah, and then what? How nice is that UFC Performance Institute for a mixed martial artist?
I
What is that?
mean, dude, if you're in the UFC and you're not taking advantage of that, you're a fucking idiot. Let's straight up, you're a fucking idiot. Because I'll tell you what, when I was in the UFC, I, you know, I was in the UFC for a very little bit, and I didn't really get the opportunity to go out there and experience it. Now, I went out there and I got all my testing done. So I did all the tests that they do. Like I got my body fat test, I got, where I should be walking, my resting metabolic rate, and they do a ton of like VO2 maxes and stuff like that. But if I had access to that every single day while I was in camp, like just having it right 10 minutes down the road. It's 10 minutes down the road for me right now. I don't want to say I dropped the ball by not moving out here sooner, but in hindsight, I wish I knew sooner so I could have got on it.
Yeah, you definitely live and learn. Now, do they at the PI, do they have specific like MMA coaches, Muay Thai coaches? I know the strength and conditioning. I know the recovery with Dr. Heather Linden out there, who's an amazing trainer of the year. Do they have specific coaches or no?
No, so it's like if you're gonna go to the PI, right? Like, first of all, you got to be in the UFC. The reason I'm able to go there is because I train with so many guys in the UFC. I get to go as a guest or one of their training partners.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, like there are classes that happen there, but
Okay.
those are pretty private classes, right? It's like you're gonna go in with your team and you're gonna do that, and you gotta like put your name in for a time slot to use the mats at that time, right? But so the way I look at it is the Performance Institute has everything that you need to be the best version of you, except what got you there, right? It doesn't have the teammates, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, right? It doesn't have the coaching. Now, coaches go there, teams go there to train, and it has all the recovery, it has the hot tubs, the cold tubs, the saunas, the cryo, the infrared saunas. They got a whole fucking staff of PT people that are constantly working on people around the clock. They got your strength and conditioning coaches. They got a cafeteria. They got a whole little merch section. But you got to like schedule your time in there.
Yeah, it helps that Dana White, who's the CEO, is big into fitness, big into recovery, big in the ice plunges.
Mhm.
There's a big thing about fighter pay, but a huge thing that I say is how valuable is that PI to a fighter? Can you comment on that?
It's just stuff that you don't get back home. Like, look, if I'm dinged up, right, and
Hmm.
I need some body work, I got it 10 minutes down the road. if you're in, you got it 10 minutes down the road and you're not paying for it. It's all free and at your disposal. And if you're not taking advantage of that, you're a fucking idiot.
I love it. And so talk to me. So you are a UFC veteran. Obviously,
Yep.
things didn't go your way. You were on the Jan Mackenzie Dern fight card.
Yep.
That card of note was highlighted because Mackenzie Dern released that Mark Zuckerberg basically rented out that whole Apex for your fight card, her fight card. What was that like?
It was fucking shitty, dude. Like, well, you want me to be honest with you? Like, it fucking sucked because my dad flew out to Vegas doing everything he fucking could to come out to get a ticket to my UFC debut, and he had to watch at some bar down the road.
Did they not let anybody in because Zuckerberg rented the whole place out?
Nope.
And so what was that like fighting in front of like nobody?
It's whatever. It's just another fight. Honestly, I didn't have much fight in me. I killed myself making weight. So at the end of the day, like, you didn't miss fucking much, but it's just another fight.
Just another fight. And then talk to me as a fighter. What's it like traveling like to the opposite side of the world? You were on a massive, notorious card, UFC 284, Makachev versus Volkanovski won. What was that like?
All right, so you know how bad fucking Mackenzie Dern that fight card sucked because no one was there? This
Yeah.
was the coolest fucking thing ever. Straight up. Oh my god, dude, I fucking left home in the middle of the fucking winter. I go to Australia, right?
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this, right? The weather, beautiful out every single fucking day. Perth is gorgeous. The beaches are gorgeous. Everyone's accent's awesome. The food is unbelievable. Not only that, dude, the fucking fans are crazy. Like, if I fight back home, no one gives a fuck. But I fight in Australia, people are recognizing me at the goddamn airport, right?
Really?
Goddamn, yeah, hell yeah, dude. It was the coolest fucking thing. Meanwhile, I'm walking out, right? We got 15,000 people in the fucking rack arena, right? 15,000 people fucking call me fucking things you can't say here without being canceled. It was, dude, it fucking straight up was like a blast of nostalgia, the fucking terms they were throwing at me. I was like dying inside. I'm like, oh my God, this feels like the fucking 90s, right? And I'm like, it was the best fucking thing ever. Just hearing that excitement and that roar and the fucking crowd and everyone hating you. And it was the coolest thing ever. So I didn't get that experience with the fight night in Vegas with Zuckerberg, but goddamn, that was the coolest fucking thing I've ever done in my life.
How long a travel time was that for you?
So I flew from Boston to LA. That was
Yeah.
maybe 6 hours.
Okay.
LA to Perth, I think that was like 16 hours, right? So we're at like 22 hours with a couple of layovers. So that turned from like 22 hours. Oh, we're going to include layovers. So like maybe 2, 3 hours in between. So let's say another 5 hours. So 27 hours, then another 6 hours to Perth, which is like going from Boston to LA, again, that, like, people don't realize how big Australia is because people only live along the coast of it. So it's like I landed in Sydney, then I had to fly to Perth, which is like from going from Boston to LA, like I just said. And that was another 6 hours. I spent like 33, 34 hours in a plane, like in traveling and bullshit.
And while cutting weight.
What was that?
And while cutting weight.
Oh yeah, I mean that was unpleasant, but you know what? We left the first. The fight wasn't the 11th, so it was almost 2 weeks beforehand. And the schedule was kind of funky too, because so what we would do is we left a little bit early. My parents had some points for hotels, so I kind of milked that up until fight week. So we 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 were staying right in Perth, right outside the Rack Arena, and we flew out there early because I was going to be cutting weight, dieting, all this. My weight was in check, weight was good, everything was perfect, and it was just me and my coach kicking it in Australia. And what we would do is we would wake up at 2 in the morning because that was my morning back home because we were fighting in East Coast time. So you got to think like in Australia, it was so bizarre because we were waking up at 2 in the morning in Australia, but it was almost like me sleeping in back home till 10 a.m. I'm like, oh, this ain't too bad. And then we'd wake up at 2 in the morning. Me and my coach would go hit mitts for an hour. Okay. And then from there, we go shower. We'd wait an hour. I'd eat some breakfast. We'd go walk to the coffee shop, right? We'd go get some coffee, hang out. And then I would find like some fucking gym in Perth. I go do an hour of cardio, hang out, and it was pretty cool, man. And then we go to bed at like 4 or 5 p.m. and wake up at 2 in the morning again.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, that flight, were you responsible for paying for that flight, or did the UFC cover that?
The UFC covers a year to and from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there were some things out there that said that, some fighters have to pay for the fights. Is that just how it's negotiated in the contract, or?
Well, there's a few certain things that happens. Like if you're just getting into the UFC, and you're on your first contract, you take whatever the fuck you can get. And when you're first getting in, I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's gonna be you and one coach. They'll pay for. Anyone else, you got to pay for. So you get 3 corners, but they only pay for you and one coach. If you want to bring 2 other corners, that's on you, right? And this was my first contract, so I didn't get to renegotiate those terms, but yeah, they paid for me and my coach.
Wow, that's awesome. What got you into mixed martial arts?
Oh man, like I remember being 18 and like it was starting to pop off. Like I remember watching guys like Uriah Faber, Donald
Oh yeah.
Cerrone. Donald Cerrone in the come up was one of the most ruthless motherfuckers ever. Oh my God. I remember watching like Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir and like shit like that. Like I remember watching um Uriah Faber versus Mike Brown, right?
Oh yeah.
And huh?
Oh yeah.
I can't. Well, I don't know even know if that was UFC or WEC. It might have been, but who knows, right?
WEC.
But yeah, I
Definitely
think it was.
WEC.
I think this was like before the UFC took over 135, 145, right?
Yep.
And I remember thinking like Uriah Faber was such a motherfucker, and I remember watching him break both his hands and only throwing elbows in that fight.
Oh yeah.
And I was in my parents' basement, and me and my best friend, we were talking, and he was telling me that he was like 205 pounds. He's like, bro, I could fuck these guys up. They're fucking 135 pounds. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to fight in the UFC one day. So, like, we weren't arguing, but like, I told him that I was going to fight in the UFC one day.
Yeah.
And he was telling me he thought he could fuck these guys up because they're 135 pounds. And like, I went to college and I don't know, man. Like, college wasn't really for me. I spent more time bullshitting and partying than I actually cared about going to class. And I picked up some pretty unhealthy habits. And then, like, the only way that I found replacing those unhealthy habits and partying and all that bullshit was from training. And then I kind of just like started believing that I could get to the UFC because I fucking thought, dude, I was so fucking blind. Like, I had no experience. And I just really thought I could do it. And yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. No, that's
10 years
that's good.
later, you know?
Hey, yeah. So you definitely don't regret those choices, right?
No, no, no. I would make some different choices if I had the time presented to me. Like if I was 18-year-old, I would have made some different fucking choices. As far as like going to college and like wasting my time doing this and wasting my time doing this. But like that's just life experience, man.
Yeah. So, in closing, on February 9th, with a victory, what's next for Shameless Don Shainis? Is it the Ultimate Fighter, or what are you anticipating is next?
We'll see, man. They're doing the casting for the Ultimate Fighter. I know my management's talked to me about getting on there. Obviously, they don't like the fact that I lost my last fight, but getting one in the right direction might put me right back into place. And you never fucking know, just stay ready, and be willing to take that short notice call. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Have you interviewed with the casting directors and things like that for the Ultimate
No,
Fighter?
no. I have not, not yet. My management has talked to me about it. They actually hit me up. They're like, dude, you win the fucking show. Like, let's see if we can get you on. And my managers talked to them about me, but I haven't talked to them personally.
Gotcha. Well, Don, I truly appreciate the time. I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't jealous that you're living in Las Vegas, where, I know we talked offline about, your take on that, but sometimes it's hard to find the good girl. So, happy wife is happy life. So,
Oh yeah, dude. I don't want to tell you to dump your girl, but dump your girl. I'm just kidding, bro.
nah. Yeah,
I'm
definitely
sure
can't
she's
do that.
cool.
I don't mind traveling out there 4 to 6 times a year. We were literally just out there for New Year's Eve, and it was what a wild time. Next time I'm out there, if you're still out there, we'll have to link up. We'll take you to dinner. We'll get you into some good Mexican food at Javier's at the Aria. Um,
I'm
if
gonna take
people
you up on
want to
that.
get what's that?
I said I'm gonna take you up on that. You come to Vegas, you hit me up. You got my phone number. We're getting
It's
some Mexican food.
Yeah, dude, I am all in. I love sharing the Javier's. The catch some restaurants that we love going to out
You like
there.
sushi?
Yeah, catch is awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, have you been to catch yet?
I have not, but I know a fucking sushi joint that's like
Oh, even better.
pretty dang good.
Is it off strip?
Off strip, yeah.
Oh yeah, see, though, I'm trying to find those off strip. Like my buddy Nathan has taken me to Sparrow and Wolf, which is
Okay.
off strip. That's a good if you
What
like
kind of
more.
restaurant is that?
Uh it's more in line with, I'm trying to compare it to something in Vegas. What would it be? It's like steaks and like unique, like chef driven food, but
Hmm.
it's predominantly like steaks and craft cocktails. The bartenders that they have there, if you like those craft cocktails, you just
Hmm.
tell them what you like and they'll come up with something for you.
Oh no shit, huh?
Yeah, it's called
I got a,
Sparrow.
I got a pretty good hidden gem for you. I don't know if I should tell you live or fucking off camera.
I spill it here. Throw some people the bone, man.
Uh, Speaking about bones, dude, you want a good steak? You go off strip. You go to Herbs and Rye. They
Oh,
probably
I've
got
heard
the
that
best.
play.
Oh, bro, fucking. Oh yeah,
I
oh yeah.
actually have heard of that place. Now, are you a
Okay,
margarita? Now check it out. Are you a margarita guy?
I don't drink.
Oh, you don't drink? Well,
No, bro, dude. I don't think you understand, man. If I drink, first of all, I'm probably driving, and that's a no-no. Like, it's easier for me not to drink. First of all, it fucks with my weight. Second of all, I got to give my keys to someone before I fucking have my first drink, or I'm driving home. Like, I just don't want to be that guy. I don't need that kind of bullshit in my life. Drinking's fun, but like, I kind of go over the top of that, so I just avoid it.
yeah, no, that's just like how do you handle it being a bartender?
Easy. I'm fucking way sober and way clearer than everyone that's fucking I'm serving. It's
Right.
actually really easy to look really smart amongst a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. So obviously, you're competing February 9th, 2024 in Wilmington, Massachusetts at the Shriners Auditorium for Joe Cavallero and Rick Caldwell's Combat FC 6. If people want to get tickets, obviously, because you benefit from ticket sales, how do
Damn
they
right
get,
I do,
can they DM you and get in
bro.
touch with you to get tickets?
Yes, and I encourage you to do so because I'm gonna tell you what, this fight's gonna be fucking nuts. I'm selling tickets. The only way I'm really making money is if you come see me fight, and I'm pretty much just doing this for straight ticket sale commission. Granted, I got a little bit of a purse, but it's mainly for tickets. So you come out, see me fight. You can Venmo me, pick up your tickets at the fucking door. Please come see me fight. I'm begging you.
And for people who haven't been to a Combat FC show, I don't know if they know Joe Cavallero, but Joe Cavallero has known UFC president Dana White since he's been about 18 years old. I've actually been to a Combat FC. I was at when Nate fought Yair Jr. I was
Yep.
at Randy Casa was on the card,
Yeah.
and some other guys. There's a guy that's actually fighting Jonathan Piersma from here at Cage Titans in a little while. He was on the card. The crowd is into it. It's very well done. Joe Cav and Rick Caldwell spare no expense to these fights. So if people are kind of on the fence, but they're a combat sports fan, they're a fan of you, they're a fan of Nate, and they want to see some guys scrap. I can't say enough about Combat FC and the hospitality. Everybody has been really cordial when we came out there for Combat FC 4. Michelle Watterson was out there.
No, the karate hottie, huh?
Yep, she was commentating. She was interviewing you guys in the cage. There was another commentator, a male commentator. I can't remember his name, and I mean no
I know
disrespect.
Randy commentated once. Who else?
There was another guy. I'll probably have to hit you back up when we're offline, 'cause I can't think of his name. He's
Oh, man.
very Yeah, he's very, very, very well known in the MMA community. But obviously, when I attach this interview, I'll attach. Do you have a link for tickets?
No, just reach out to me, text, Instagram, Shameless Dawn. You reach out on Instagram. I'm constantly checking my fucking like my filtered shit. So it's like if you reach out, yo, I need tickets, let me know. I'm gonna be blasting it. We're in crunch time. We got what, 4.5 weeks to go till
Yep.
fight night. We're
Yep.
in crunch time. Let's fucking get that out of the way, man.
And then closing, do you have any sponsors you want to give a shout out to for this fight?
Yeah, so like I actually got a ton of people I need to thank for this. First and
Absolutely.
foremost, my parents, dude. Without them, like I was straight up fucking bumming it at my parents. So I fucking just like got up and fucking left. And they've been nothing but supportive and generous and really fucking helped me.
That's
And,
huge.
like I don't even know how I could fucking repay them. They probably don't even want repayment. They just want me to fucking, just succeed, So first and foremost, like hands down my fucking parents, because right now has not been fucking easy in my life. Like I'm not gonna go into it, but
Yeah,
I've been dealing with some shit financially, mentally, everything. Like, I fucking love my parents. Like that
that's huge.
they've really helped me continue to pursue this because if it wasn't for them, I'd be working a fucking job right now, and I'd be miserable and hating my life. Um, Not that work isn't important, but like I just want to take a second and fucking let
Yeah.
them know that.
Amen. Love it.
Yeah. Also, one of my family friends, uh, they actually have a condo out here, the Seagulls. They've been super generous every time I've came out here. They let me stay at their condo. I want to give them another shout out because without their condo, I wouldn't have the means to come out here and do that. And they've been so generous and nice to me. I just want to give them another shout out. But as far as sponsors go, boy, let me tell you, I'm uh I'm very fortunate, wicked fucking fortunate. I got some great people in my corner. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Sam, my tattoo artist. Sam Norris, she's out of, I want to say Hanson. She's fucking unbelievable. She's been sponsoring me for the past year. I want to give a shout out to Two Fight Bros. They've been sponsoring me for the past year. I want to
What
give a
do they
shout out
do?
Two Fight Bros. They're just
Yeah.
two dudes that fucking love fighting and they want to see fighters fucking make it to the next level. And they just love fighting so much that they go out of their way to fucking support people. So I want to give them a huge plug. Um, my friend, old time training partner Joe Grimaldi, he's a lawyer. He's a huge sponsor of mine, as well as his friend Billy Adams. He's a computer software guy. He as well sponsors me. I'm definitely forgetting a few. I got some longtime sponsors like Shovel Shop Spirits and Bada Bloom. They're my weed guys. Um, they definitely take care of me with all the CDBD products and some flour here and there. I'm trying to do this off the cuff, off the top of my head. Um, Natalia Vargas Insurance, Gary Watson. He's been sponsoring me for the past year. I do insurance with the guy. He does cut my car insurance, and he's just been a long time supporter of me over the years. So without these people, I'd be in a position where it's like I kind of be fucked. So I just want to take a moment to thank all those guys.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously huge as a regional fighter coming up on the circuit. Obviously, having that family support and then all those people. That's a long list of support that you have. So you
Oh
should feel
no, no, that's
blessed.
not even all of it. That's just off the top of the head. right? Like
Yeah.
this is just off the top of the head. I'm so fortunate with my sponsors because I feel like a jerk because like off the cuff, I can't think of them all because I got fucking 30, 40 people that I gotta give a shout out to.
That's awesome.
But without them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's great. So to get in closing, obviously hit Don up. He's
Yes.
competing. Shameless Don Shainis is competing February 9th, 2024 at the Shriners Auditorium with Joe Cavallero and Rick Caldwell's Combat FC. He's fighting for some hardware to bring back to Las Vegas.
Yeah, that
Definitely
belt's
see him
gonna go
compete.
right there. That belt is going right up there. And then I'm gonna bring my other belts. I'm gonna bring my Cage Shines belt, my FAC belts.
And then you're gonna go after that UFC belt, right?
Hey man, I just want to get back in the UFC and we can figure that shit out later. That's
Yeah,
down the road. Right now, I got a task in front of me. I ain't worried about anything other than that.
amen. We're going to be there live February 9th watching you compete. We love the Combat FC fight card, so if fans are waiting, hit you up for tickets, and we'll see you February 9th. And just sit tight, okay? Shameless Don Shainis.
You got it, man.